Okay, welcome back to the main section of today's episode where I'm here with Exit. Hello, Exit.
Hi, you all right?
I'm
Thanks for
good,
having
thank you.
me.
Yeah, no, not a problem at all. How are you today?
Oh, really good, really good. Been a good day, been a really good day. So just
Yes.
rolling on the good vibes of today, really.
Good, good, good. Well, good to get you in such a good mood, and very much looking forward to talking to you today because I've been listening to the Evening Cool Down, which is your
Oh,
latest album at time of recording, and it's absolutely fantastic. So I just want to
oh, thank you,
say a
thank you,
congratulations on that first before we go any
thank you.
further. I do need to ask. It's the first question I ask every artist. Some artists struggle to answer it more than others. I think for you, you're going to find it easier
Okay.
than others. But just for those who don't already know your music, are you able just to let them know the best genre that would describe it for them, so they can get a rough idea of the sound?
So I like to. It sounds really silly, but I like to call it exit music because literally there is everything. I think everything that I've ever done. There is hip hop, there's grime, there's pop,
Mm,
there's R&B, there's garage in there. There
yeah.
is like everything mixed in together, like so much stuff. I've even done house track, and it all comes together and becomes exit kind of thing. So I don't, yeah, I like to say pick and exit. It's like a pick and
Mm,
mix,
mm.
basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is something I will be bringing up later, actually, when we do talk about the evening cool down, because there's definitely some songs that are overtly in other genres, well, overtly inspired by other genres, I think, than more so than others on the album, and I'm going to pick up on that later.
Oh,
But
awesome.
yeah, what you said there really does put it in a good perspective for people, I think, and yeah, that carries through all of your music. Are you able just to let people know though what's out there for them to listen to now in case they
Oh,
wanted to?
wow.
Obviously, they know about the new
Yeah.
album, but what has been released in the past as well, just so that if they do want to pause and go and have a quick listen, they can, and then they can come back when ready.
Yeah, of course. Well, the first mixtapes are very difficult to find because they were on Hulkshare and stuff like that. But that's back in the day. But you can still find some of them on my
Mm,
YouTube, on my Exit official YouTube. But I've got The Ripened Apple was my first album. Nice Guys Finished Last was my second. That's currently off of not on streaming. It's going to be back on there in a few days because I didn't renew that streaming that distributor because I've got like three
oh,
different
okay.
going. I was like, no, I didn't renew for the year. So it's going to be on there in a couple of days.
Yeah.
It's Exit, Pick an Exit, Morning Motivation, and Evening Cool Down are all projects you can find. And all my old stuff from like mixtapes and actually, yeah, a lot of that stuff is actually on. I've got rid of From the Vault and I've got like
Mm,
a deluxe. So loads of my old stuff is on From the Vault on an album on Spotify as well. But yeah, the most recent is Evening Cool Down. Um, and there's some stuff that was quite recent that's on From the Vault as well, and obviously Morning Motivation. They're my most recent. So yeah, I'd say go check out Evening Cool Down, Morning Motivation, and Pick an Exit to get the full sort of exit experience. Those three albums for sure.
yeah, definitely. Those are the ones that I've listened to. So I've obviously done my research best I can, and those are the ones that I've listened to as I've been doing so, and I've been
Oh,
really
brilliant!
enjoying them, especially as I
Oh,
say, especially the latest one. That's the Evening Cool Down is a fabulous record.
oh,
So
thank you.
let's do, no, not a problem at all. Let's go chronologically as I like to do then in your career, and obviously we'll go off on tangents and things, but
Yeah.
let's talk about effectively what was playing in your household when you were growing up. So we go back to childhood here. What's the earliest experiences of music that you were getting from growing up as a child?
It's funny because I think most of the music my parents were listening to, I don't know if it rubbed off on me at all. It didn't because like
Mm,
my dad was well, they had a lot of different. It's really funny because of I get asked this question, but there's so much that was being played in the
mm,
house. Like there was so much. Like
yeah.
you'd go from like my dad listened to Genesis to like some Bob Marley, which was really different from mum, but she listened to a little bit of that. So my mum is just like huge on. I'm trying to think of some things that would. Well, yeah, just a bit of everything. There was yeah, mama, like there was some soul stuff. Then my dad would be into more rock stuff,
Mm,
and then obviously when I was growing up, there was a lot of poppy nighty stuff that I sort of discovered first. Like my parents would show me this, they would say, "Oh, you know, go and buy it." Yes, there was a lot of
mm,
top of the pop stuff like that. All that's so I didn't really for the music that I do. I don't think I really
mm.
discovered until I was 7 or 8, maybe. You know. So
Well, that's the next line of inquiry, I guess, isn't it? Is when did you start discovering your own music then? Because it's quite interesting actually, because you're one of the first artists, and I've spoken to probably over the course of doing this podcast at least 70 plus artists now. I know I've done 100 episodes
yeah.
plus, but at least 70 artists, and you're probably the first one who said that the music of their parents truly, you know, may not have influenced them going forward themselves.
Mm.
And so it'd be interesting to find out, when did you start discovering your music, as you alluded to a bit there, and when, and what were you listening to?
It's funny because of obviously people are gonna think it's just like rap and everything that I listen to, but there was all sorts of things that I listened to. Like I like all sorts of different music, but I think when it comes to like first like making me decide to want to rap and stuff, I think I saw like some of the early garage days. But So Solid Crew, I saw that. I saw that on the TV screen and was like, they're rapping, and I was like learning some of their lyrics, especially like 21 Seconds, and I was like, oh, I really, this is so cool. They're rhyming and they're all there. And that is kind of one of the first things I saw. Funny enough, it would have been like Will Smith as well. Like that was like the first time I saw, I think I might have learned like raps as a kid, you know, sort of thing. So that's, yeah. But there was so much that obviously there was all the sort of poppy stuff that was around back then as a kid that you'd listen to, you know. So there was so much, like, I don't know, like trying to think, but there was a lot. But that's probably what got me started on the rapping, was they seeing So Solid Crew and everything like that. Definitely.
So how does that lead on to you starting to actually rap and feeling like you're getting
Yeah.
serious at being able to do it? How does that lead on to that?
Well, it took a while because I think that was around middle school, sort of. And I think I then wrote some songs that were terrible, but I did them and people saw them, and everyone, like, they kind
we
of,
all do that.
yeah. And I think
Yeah.
people laughed a little bit at the time, but might have thought, oh, actually, that kind of works. But they laughed a little bit. And then when I went up to my next school, I did start rapping and starting writing stuff. And then everyone was kind of like, oh, is it that stuff you did in middle school? And then they're like, they heard it and they're like, oh, he's actually rapping. He's actually spent time writing songs.
Yeah.
But I think in middle school and upper school, I was like doing loads of seeing a lot of the grime artists and some of the like noughties Americans and stuff, and they were really influencing me. And then I think that's it. You're bringing things back I forgot about, actually. I think it was an English class as well in year 10 where they did the whole they got told off for doing it, but they showed 8 Mile in an English lesson. And they decided that our homework was to make raps. To make battle raps. And I wrote loads and loads and loads, and that is how I started and didn't stop. Like, yeah, basically. Yeah.
So it's all sort of coming from passion whilst as a teenager, which it is usually the case for musicians, I guess. And you're following that trajectory onwards. So when do you start actually recording music? How does that happen? Is that something that happens quite early on, or did it take a bit of time to develop?
It took a while. Yeah, because it's funny because of around the school I became Exit because everyone heard about it, and then they were like, there's another rapper, you need to have a rap battle with him. And I was like, oh no, I don't. Like, he was like, everyone thought he was the guy, sort of thing. And then they ended up having this big thing in the playground where we had a rap battle. I kind of got pushed into it, and everyone watched and everything. And then it was a big moment. And then I was like, right, I love doing this. This is amazing. And I just wrote songs for so long. And I was rapping at parties, rapping in pubs and stuff, like just a cappella and everything. And then eventually, for my birthday, I don't know what it was. I was just kind of scared probably of making that next move. But then I think on my 21st birthday, maybe, or my 20th birthday, I got like a present from the family, and it was recording time. And I was like, so I went into the studio. I went into a studio in Bedford and recorded two songs, and that's how it all began. So that was like, probably 2012. Yeah.
So are those songs anywhere for people to hear? Because that'd be interesting to hear the earliest recorded material.
Well, it's funny because they were around for a long time. If you want to find the first ever song, like the 10 Feet Tall, that's on my Facebook. Like, so far, if you go to the videos, you will go all the way back. But it's very difficult. So not everyone knows my Facebook, so they can't find it. So it's good. It's good, but it is funny. We did a video for it, and I was like on the like on a balcony doing the bits and everything. It's quite cheesy looking back at it, but it's funny. But the other one was on YouTube, the freestyle that I did. but it
Mm.
was on another channel, but I'm pretty sure it's gone now. But yeah, I should probably resurface them one day. It's hard to find. Yeah, so
Well, you mentioned doing freestyling there. I was going to ask this later, but I'll ask it now because it'll be a nice tangent into it. Um, so when you write, 'cause you're going to have to help me here because I'm not. I've worked with people who rap, but I don't know how rappers do it or how they write
yeah.
because I'm not able to do it myself. So when you write, do you effectively freestyle and then just see what sticks, or do you purposefully write when writing a song and then freestyle when you're live or when you're, in a kind of a rap battle anywhere or anything like along those lines? Or is that part of the writing process as well?
So the writing process for me is weird because sometimes I'll start writing, like you said, like a song. I'll go
Yeah.
in and I'll do that and I'll just pen to pad and then I'll just writing a song, not
Yeah.
really freestyling, but you're just like taking your time with it, sort of thing. So you are writing,
Yeah.
yeah. So you're thinking of what comes next, da 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 da, and that's me most of the time. I'll find a beat and I'll start writing to the beat, and
Yeah.
I'll sometimes write the hook first and then do all the verses afterwards, but sometimes it depends on the mood. Sometimes I'll put on a beat and I'll get my phone out and I'll just
Mm,
do a voice recording of me trying to freestyle to the beat.
yeah.
So sometimes that has worked as well because then I've gone and taken the best bits from the freestyle and put them on
Mm,
the song, like, and then wrote
yeah.
to the best bits of the freestyle. So a bit of both, really. But usually I'm
Okay.
writing. I'm writing usually. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, who are the biggest influences then when it comes to, because it's quite good actually because you're not just kind of you're not freestyling, you're not just spitballing it out there kind of thing and just seeing what sticks, what lands. You are actually sitting to write a lot of your material as well.
Yeah.
Um, I guess it would be a good question to ask actually, who are the biggest influences on your writing, and you could even extend that to your rap style as well. But what artists would be the biggest influences on that?
It's crazy because there's just so many. And
Mm,
I'm looking over there at over there is all my it's just a massive collection of CDs and records.
yeah,
And I have to look, and then every time I do this, I miss people out, and it's crazy.
yeah.
But it depends if you're going UK or American. It's
Mm,
I feel like, but this is the thing. I always talk about the best, but then I don't know. You're like you've said about influencing you. So it's kind of like,
mm,
who influences? But are you looking at who the best is, and but
yeah,
have they influenced you? It's kind of like you could say like
yeah.
Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, they changed the way people rap and stuff like that.
Mm,
It's like, but I listen to Big L,
mm,
Lupe Fiasco, Royce
yeah,
the 5'9". There's I'm just spitballing again. People that come to my head
yeah,
first, like Jay-Z and Nas, of course, um,
yeah.
people like that, and then Lloyd Banks. But I'm probably missing so many. I just spitball whoever's coming to
Mm,
the head first. You see. But there's so many J. Cole, stuff like that. That's
mm,
America. But then in the UK, people influence me like Sway, Swiss,
mm,
Kano, Dizzy, and Wiley. So
yeah,
many. But I'm missing loads of important people in the UK. There, just say Bashi. Or there's so many people. But
mm.
I tell you what, the funny thing is, so I'm just going really quick. I'm sorry, but
That's right. You carry on.
who influences me now, I feel, is who's local to me in a
Mm,
way. I realized that, and it's really because I do the Bedford radio show, the local rap
mm,
show. So I do
mm,
music from Bedford, Milton Keynes,
yeah,
Northampton, Luton, or everything that's sort of kind of near. And
yeah,
I've realized that who I listen to most is my peers, people I perform on the same shows at and stuff like that. So
yeah.
it's kind of they're sort of influencing me these days. It's quite funny. I was thinking that the other day. Yeah.
I guess kind of with the people get influenced by what they're listening to anyway. That always happens. But
Mm,
also for you, it's the collaborative nature of the people around you, isn't it? Like
yeah.
you're in that scene with them. They are around you. You're speaking to them. You're interacting with them. I guess that must make a huge difference.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. There's something, and to have some of them like through the last few years be on songs with me, it's just crazy.
Yeah,
Like people I always looked up to, and then like I knew about, and then I've met, and now we've become so close friends, and then oh
yeah,
wow, I'm doing songs with them now, and I'm chilling with them, so it's quite
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. I want to move on to talking about the music you've released now. Obviously,
Yeah.
you said about that recording session in
Oh yeah.
2012 that
Yeah.
was bought for you as a present. Obviously,
Mhm.
looking to me like it's 5 years later until we get the first album that's on Spotify. I know there's been music
Yeah.
recorded before
Of
then.
course. Yeah.
Um, what's the what is the trajectory, and how do you get from that 2012 session to 2017 then? Because that's where most people are
Right,
going to be able
yeah.
to start listening from.
Yeah, of
What
course.
kind of happened
Yeah.
there?
So basically I did those two, and then I went
Mm.
I had the two songs, I released them, and then went into another session and had Bad Vibes and Victory. I'm not going to go through every single because it would take forever, but Bad Vibes
Yeah.
and Victory was like, and Bad Vibes I still perform all the time, and I dropped
Mm.
that in 2013. Victory and Headbanger, and they were all different songs I recorded. Headbanger
Mm.
with Warby Walker, who's a house got hit artist who lived right down the road from me, and we did a song, and it got on like local
Mm.
radio and stuff, so it was really cool. And I was like, this is really getting this doing really well, this is all really cool. And so I basically went in the same studio and finished a mixtape called The Country Boy. And The Country Boy was my first body of music, 10 tracks, and it was so cool. And I then got it as a CD and started
Mm.
selling it down the, like you used to, like down in the streets sort of thing,
Yeah.
like, because of people still wanted CDs so much back then. They still
Yeah.
do now a bit, but back then you could be, 2004, beginning of 2014. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was March 2014 it came out. So I'm like, and then I went in
Yeah.
and just I made another mixtape called Remix It in 2015, and it just did it so quick. I went into a different studio that I ended up with Ben
Mm.
Garraway, and we worked on music for 13 years. I was in his studio doing all the music,
Mm.
and we did this. We did Remix It, which was I love that mixtape because there was a lot of remixes as well, but a lot of
Mm.
original songs. And then did Slade in It, which had like a real poppy fun
Mm.
sort of mixtape in 2015. And I'd done 3 mixtapes, and then everyone was like, "Well, this is on YouTube. These are on like
Mm.
file sharing, so like Hulk share. So you literally click it
Yeah.
and you download all the songs. And as
Yeah.
technology was changing, streaming was getting bigger, and
Yeah.
obviously iTunes was still a big thing. You could, people still buy it
Yeah.
off there. And that's when I was like, right, I'm gonna make an actual song that I can,
Mm.
you know, I'm gonna put it out properly.
Mm.
And so I went and made this song called Anything, beginning of 2016, and released that as a single. And it did really well. Actually, the funny thing is, it went in 57 in Finland randomly for
Oh
1 week
yeah.
because of the guy that was on the song called Levi Maddox. He was quite
Yeah.
well known, so it was
Okay.
weird. But that was the one weird moment ever. And then another Live to Try and Summer Vibes. And then I was like, I've recorded all these songs, and then I did the album, The Ripened Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah, beginning of was it beginning? I think that was beginning of 2016. I think.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. So it got put onto Spotify, I assume, later then.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, no, 2017.
Yeah.
Because I recorded it all in 2016,
Yeah.
and then I released it in January of 2017. So I always get that confused. So yeah, you're definitely right. Sorry.
Yeah, no, there we go. But yeah, no. So something I want to ask you about now, then, because obviously we've spoken. There's a lot of music in that period, and obviously
Yeah.
we still got music later down the line as well. I do want to ask actually, is there any, because we spoke a bit about writing already. So is there any subjects that you particularly like to write about the most, or is there a common theme amongst a lot of your music, or do you just kind of go where the wind blows and see what happens that way?
So you mean now or back then? Or you
Well,
mean now?
like,
Whatever. Yeah.
I could say anytime,
Anytime.
over the
Wow.
career.
Do you know what? It's anything that is happening at that time, I think,
Mm.
really. Like, I don't know. I feel like recently it's been like still trying to prove the penmanship, I guess, the
Mm.
skill to trying to do more clever stuff with my flows and clever stuff with my rhymes and stuff. But
Yeah.
I feel like there's been a lot of family stuff, a lot of like I don't know relationship stuff. There's been a lot
Mm.
of and then there's just sometimes where I just want to make a song that is just happy, fun, and make
Mm.
people dance. So
Yeah.
it really depends. It depends on how things are at the time. Yeah.
I'll say that's one thing I notice about your music a lot, is there's so much of it is
Mm.
just upbeat and happy.
Yeah, yeah.
So much of it is, and when you listen to a lot of other hip hop or rap artists, sometimes that's the one thing that can be missing.
Yeah.
And you've got it almost in abundance. There's so much of it there. That's what I like about it so much, because ultimately, as much as I can go to listen to music I can listen to a sad song, I can listen to a song about heartbreak, a song about anything like that. I do also still want to feel happy when I listen to music as well.
Yeah.
And that's what those tunes bring in, I think. I want to talk about the evening cool down now then.
Yeah.
So as I said earlier, congratulations on the record. It's
Thank you.
absolutely fantastic. Can you tell us how this album came about and the story of it?
So Morning Motivation came out in 2022,
Mm,
and a lot of people were like, "That's your best album. It's the best album you've done." And it had the whole theme of morning motivation. Kind
mm,
of the whole project was kind of not waking up, but it felt like it. And then
yeah,
like through the day, like it felt like that. It was very anyway. People loved that, and I always
yeah,
joked about after the morning motivation comes the evening cool down.
yeah.
So, and it's funny how that actual album kept like at first, some of the first songs that I recorded were like Wings Up and the
Mm,
title track, like the begin the evening cool down title track. And they were quite more chilled and like a cool down kind of thing.
yeah.
But then as I went, that was what it was supposed to be, like very chilled out all the time. But then eventually there were songs like Gold and So Long and stuff like that. And then it
Yeah.
became more of an uplifting as well, uplifting at the same time. So it was kind of supposed to
Mm,
be just chill the whole time, but it ended up being like loads of different sort of feelings when you're cooling down, I guess, sort of thing. But yeah,
yeah.
and it's fun
So
because I'm sorry.
no, no, you carry on, carry on.
Okay, so yeah, so it's funny because this it's really funny for the transition for that because Morning Motivation was recorded in a studio, and then I put out an album called Bedford Hates Me a
Mm,
couple years later. So I was actually recording. There you go. There's the sort of little booth there. But yeah,
mm,
I would then have to. I was like, right, I'm going to learn how to record at home. And the
mm,
album before that, I was doing it all myself, and it was getting tricky, and it's because I've never ever recorded on my own before. But then
mm,
Matuzi, a good friend of mine and a great producer, great engineer and everything, and he was like, right, let's do that. I basically went and did Wings Up with him, and then we recorded the whole thing. He was the engineer, so and there's a couple
mm,
of his beats on the album as well. So it was a whole new thing of recording in my flat
yeah.
with Matuzi doing the whole project. So it was like a whole new journey of me doing it sort of on my own without going to a studio and doing it on mine. So it was like really
Mm.
cool. It was like a new journey as well for that.
Yeah,
So
no, it's interesting you said there about the link between, this album, the previous album. I hadn't made that link myself until you mentioned it there. Now I totally get it. And yeah, it's interesting because again, we also talked about whether you write about specific subjects more than others, and then or just go with the wind blows. And I feel like with this record, as you said, you were more originally it was meant to sound more chill the whole way through, but actually other ideas just came in. So I'm
yeah,
assuming this is one of those ones where you just kind of let yourself go in whatever direction you want to
yeah,
go in at any point.
that's what I did in the end. Yeah, definitely. And I'm glad I did because there's tracks like Gold on there. There's tracks
Mm,
like So Long, Dream About Tomorrow. I mean, Dream About Tomorrow is quite chill, but like
mm,
it just let it happen. I let see what was
yeah.
happening, what I'd sing on the hooks, and what I would start rapping about. And yeah, really more reflective in a lot of the songs as well. I
Mm,
feel in this one, reflecting off
yeah,
the
yeah.
time and things. Yeah,
Yeah, can you, if possible, no, I'll ask you about a few of the tracks in a minute, actually. I'll do it that way. I do want to ask you, though, about collaborations with artists. So this album's
yeah,
got a lot of collaborations on.
yeah,
Can you tell us more about those collaborations and how they work and
yeah. Sure.
how they benefit
Sure.
the music as well?
Okay, so I'm going to think of sort of in the order. I'm trying to remember in the order. I
Mm,
think the first collaboration would have been So Long, and it's got Matuzi and Afghan Dan. So that
mm,
was fun because obviously Matuzi was working with me and everything, and I was like, basically, I had the hook, and I was like, I'm not sure I'm bringing the best out of this hook.
mm,
I said, why don't you have a go? And he did it, and he changed the hook a little bit as well, and it just became. I think, yeah, he absolutely it was an amazing hook, and he made it so
mm,
much better. And so happy he's on that. And then it was really funny. I was at work, and I was scrolling on Instagram for a second, and then Afghan Dan, who obviously I just follow him. I don't know him personally. He
mm,
was like, I'm doing Versi features all day. I'm in a studio, and I was like, do
mm,
you want to get on
mm,
this? And he did it and
mm.
sent it over to me. So it's the most
Yeah.
random collaborator there is. That is. But you've got Average Day, which is with Specific, and
Mm.
Specific I can point like the direction that he lives down the road from me. So it's funny because we've known each other for a few years. He's around the same age, and he's been doing music for. So he's someone who should really be brilliant on here. Like he's because the
Mm,
history of him being in, he's been in bands. He's been the rapper in bands, and he's been a singer
Oh
in
yeah.
bands. And then
Mm.
into his 30s, he's finally gone solo and putting out rap stuff
Mm.
as a solo artist. But anyway, I thought he's never done a collab before, and I was like, you need to do a song with me. And he lives down the road from me, and we did Average Day. And I think
Oh yeah.
having him on that, it's very much his sort of type of song. And that's what I think. I'm like, yeah, I picked the perfect one for him. And the funny thing, the collab with Heights, which is Say It With Your Chest, I love that one so much. He literally sent me it and said, look, do you want to get on this? I can't seem to, I don't know if he could, he was like, I don't know what to do with it exactly. See what you can do with it and add to it. And then if you like it, put it on your album. So I was like, thank you. Right. So that's how that happened with Heights. He was looking out. He just had a song that he wasn't too sure about, but now we've made it into both of us together. It's becoming an awesome song, I think. And then there's, I'm trying to remember everybody. I'm not trying to forget anybody on this. I think there's only, KB, of course. Wow. He was the second track. I was thinking he was later. I'm going from the original, what I originally had as track
The
listing.
original
But
track listing, yeah.
yeah, before it came out. But he was going to, yeah. So KB lives down the road. He's like a lot of our local, like he's a amazing rapper, great friend of mine as well. We basically, I've done a song on his with him earlier in the year called Groovin', which is great, and he's putting some music out now, and it's really, really good, really, really good. And he's I said, I need to get one for you. We need to get you on this one because it felt like a KB tune, like the sort of thing he get on. And he came on, he smashed it as well. And then there's a track with Marley Anthony from Northampton and Sabrina, and she's lives in Bedford. She can sing, she's never recorded anything before, and it was like, why don't you try and do this hook for me, come to mine and record. And she'd never recorded anything in her life, and she came and first thing she ever recorded, and it was really good. So yeah, and I think that is all the collabs on the album, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So it's a nice mixed bag, and all of them got good story to them, haven't they, I think?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I also noticed most of them are local artists. Would you say that the area you're from is a bit of a sort of a, I don't know if it's undiscovered, because it might be discovered because I don't live there. But is it kind of like a hotbed of sort of rap, hip hop kind of around there? Is there quite a lot of artists there?
Yeah, so it's funny because we're Bedford wise, you go to, I think we've all discovered each other, and that's how it's worked. So a lot of them are still hidden. Like, it's funny because we've got like Bedford, Milton Keynes, Northampton, Leighton Buzzard, Luton. We even go up to Stevenage, Cambridge, all there. And that's how we all sort of link together in a way, because we've done loads of shows together. So we've got a lot of connections with each other now in a way. And I'd say a lot of talent has been discovered, but then there's a lot that hasn't as well. So everyone's in there. I think there's all different sections of different places in Bedford and everywhere. They know of these people, but you can go a little bit further. They don't know about these people. It's really quite strange. But I think we've just managed to create this amazing community. I think a lot of us I think we should pat ourselves on the back. So we've gone to different places. We found a rap night here or an open mic here where some rappers, and we've said, right, there's these shows, come to these. And then we met you here, join us and come do this show here. And it's kind of just created this thing. And yeah. But I mean, I have done songs with people who aren't quite a lot who aren't local, but that's more on the last albums before that, I think. So yeah.
Well, I want to ask you about someone who's part of that community and is local, and I've been given permission to ask this, but he's a fellow label mate of mine. I hear you've been working in some way. I don't know how much you can say. Now, bear in mind this will be coming out early January. I don't know how much you can say, but so maybe I have to tread carefully. But is there anything you can tell us about working with Evolution? Because a lot of people on this podcast that listen to this podcast know Evo and are interested in his story as well. So is there anything you can say?
So I can. I think if it's coming out in January, I'm pretty sure it's coming out around that time. So I'm gonna take the risk and talk about it. I think. Yeah, I think I can. So yeah, we've met once, but we didn't. This is the funny thing is about with we more connected online. We both did a show. We were both at a show together, and I think we spoke for a second. We didn't speak for long because it was like quite like, I don't know, busy show or whatever. But then obviously we followed each other, and I really liked a couple of his tunes, and I played them on my radio show. And then we both, I suppose, looked at each other's music. And then he reached out to me and said, would you get on this tune? And I loved it. And yeah, I was like, right, and I did my exit thing on there, and I'm really happy with the tune. I really like that tune.
Mm,
Like I've shown it to a few people. I hope it doesn't mind, but obviously not many, just
yeah.
a few, you know. And so yeah,
I've
it's gonna
I've heard it
be
as well. I have heard
oh,
it as well. It's a fantastic song. It is a really good
oh
song.
brilliant,
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it's gonna be on the album, right? That comes out in January or February. So yeah, I don't think that's a
Yeah.
spoiler because we're not playing the song, so it's okay.
No, 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 we're not. We're not at all. We're
Yeah,
not at all. And I have been given permission to ask you that. So he has given
yeah,
me permission to ask you to
but
help
he
draw up
is.
further interest in
Yeah,
the album as well. So yeah, no,
that's it.
he's fantastic. And
I'm
yeah, no,
really
it's good to see
enjoying.
that.
Yeah, his new stuff, like the stuff he's
Yeah,
putting out as well. Like he's got his style, hasn't he? Sort of thing. Then I really like. I
yeah,
feel I could put on his music, especially his last couple of songs, and go, yeah, yeah, and then you kind of actually get them in your head as well, quite soon
yeah.
as
No,
well.
yeah, they can be quite catchy, some of his songs as
Yeah,
well.
very catchy.
That's what's
Yeah.
great. Talking of songs, I'm going to ask you about a few of yours from the latest record, and
Okay. Yeah.
I've got three picked out. The first song I think is kind of a quintessential exit song. I think this sums up a lot of your sound. This song, and you've mentioned it a couple of times already, and that's Gold. Can you
Yeah.
tell us a bit more about what that song's all about and how it came to be?
Yeah, of course. Do you know what's I can tell you about how I recorded it because it's so
Mm,
funny. Because when I
mm,
recorded it, I was supposed. I tell my brother this as well. I'm like, if you hadn't have told, right? So basically, I was supposed to be going around his house,
mm,
and I was sitting. I just messaged him. I'm buying the computer. Just message him, and I said
mm,
I'm about to head off in him. He goes, "Oh, can you give it an hour? Because I'm not ready for
mm.
you to come over yet." And thank God for that, because if he hadn't have said that, I would have never wrote Gold. I literally flipped over some beats and I went, oh,
Mm,
I like this beat, and I just started writing to it. I just
mm.
started writing to it straight away. I
Yeah,
think it was about a girl at the time, I think, pretty much, yeah. And I was just like talking about her, I think, yeah, obviously. And but the thing is, I've forgotten who it was about now because it's, you know what I mean? It's I'm so happy with the song. It's
yeah,
like, oh yeah. And yeah, I was so happy recording. That was the demo. And then Matusi came around and we just spent ages perfecting that. Like
mm,
I was doing, because I'm not the best singer or anything. So I'm just like doing so many different versions
mm,
of how I will sing it. I was going da da here, da 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 here. So
mhm,
sometimes
mm,
I can remember different ways I sung it, even though it was never on the record, you know? So
mm.
it was
Yeah.
one of the best, most fun things to ever record that song, actually. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
that song.
it's a fantastic song, and as I say, it's pretty quintessential to your sound as well. It's definitely within your canon, put it that way.
Yeah.
And one of the
I lo-
reasons I picked that song
yeah,
is because the next two are a little bit more um more, as I said earlier, overtly influenced by other genres, I think. And one of them is Lose Control, which kind
yeah,
of has this sort of almost Latin kind of influence on it.
yeah.
And yeah, can you just tell us more about that one?
Yeah, I just you know what it was? I wanted to make something that was very, I don't know, had some fun little like lyrics in it and stuff. Like and also like I love the verses to it, but I wanted to make something a bit more like it'll be really fun to perform, you know. And I
Mm,
was like, oh, when I heard the beat, the first thing I did was
mm,
lose control, and I wrote that, and I
yeah,
was like, all right, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a fun song to do,
yeah,
and it just it just happened like that. I don't know what made me think of that beat or where I got that beat from again. I don't know if it
mm,
was. I know the producer, but I can't remember.
mm,
I've got it all written down. So yeah, so that one wasn't produced by Matusi. I know, but
mm,
on the album, I haven't said Half Decent. Does some.
mm,
Yeah, he produced a lot, and so did Matusi, and so did
mm.
Fletch, who again you're saying it's really funny, lives in the village next door to me, so he's quite close. So you're right, it
Yeah.
is quite close actually. It's
It's
quite
a
funny. Yeah,
close-knit community. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's
definitely.
so that's one of those songs that when we're talking about earlier, making sure people have a fun time and people can dance,
Yeah.
that's definitely one of those songs, isn't it?
First time I performed that, and I think it might have been before the album came out. I can't remember, but yeah, it
Mm,
was. And the reaction, I was like, "Yes, this is what I wanted." You
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Same with Gold though.
exactly.
Out of all of them, Gold is so much fun to
Mm,
perform. Like everyone really, because I suppose it's got the garage vibe and everything. It's
yeah,
happy garage, and it's
mm,
so nice to see how everyone reacts to that. And every time I finish performing Gold, it's just like, I want to do that again so bad, like you know,
yeah.
yeah. And I'm even
Well,
bringing it to like real hardcore sort of rap shows, right?
mm,
And 'cause it's quite poppy as well. You're like, oh, how are people gonna? And it's really funny because some of the real
mm,
like some of the real, like, I don't know, there's not many, but some of the real, like, I don't know, use this to tell, like, gangster rappers are like,
Yeah.
yo, actually, I like that gold, actually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't, you'd think they'd be like, oh, that's a bit of a poppy one. But yeah, they all like, yeah, I like that.
Well, that's the thing that you know, UK garage is kind of is that, you know, a lot of stuff's getting to its 20th year anniversary, some
Yeah,
of it even older than that. And that's all in vogue right now because it all comes
yeah.
back in style and you're starting to hear it
Always,
a lot
doesn't it?
more, aren't
Yeah,
you? Yeah.
yeah.
The last song I want to ask you about is Unusual because I feel like this one's kind of got that sort of 80s, 90s soul kind of
Yeah.
influence on it, right? So can you tell us more about what that's about and how it came to be?
That's funny because I know there's still one. Oh, there's a really cool eh, I wrote it and I've got the beat
Mm,
and I don't know why I haven't recorded it yet. There's another song and you'll hopefully hear that next year or the year after.
mm,
But I started doing it was just like a really weird like 4-track EP that has like
yeah.
an 80s vibe. So I had these
Mm,
80s style beats and yeah, there's like, oh, it's life's like a video game or something like that. Something
yeah.
I've made. I want to bring that out one day. I've not recorded it yet, but it's like, you know, early stages of that.
Yeah.
But there was the 4 that I had early stages of, and I recorded Unusual, and it was going to be on that thing.
Mm,
And then I was like, actually, I really like this. Yeah, I'm gonna put this on the album. So
mm,
I did, and I think
yeah.
it fits on the album for sure.
Mm,
But
yeah.
I wanted to make something old school. Had that old school feel, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No, it definitely fits on the album because it's this is your record that kind of has the, you know, the biggest differences in it's the biggest sort of gap in influences, right? Where it goes from one
yeah,
place to another, next place, next. So it suits that style because you're showing where you're drawing everything from and then putting it out yourself as your own
yeah,
music and making it, you know, making it into exit music, as you say, right? It literally is
yeah.
just that's how the album works for me with this. But yeah, no, congratulations on the album. I think it's absolutely
Thank you.
fantastic. So it's the evening cool down for people who want to go and listen to it.
I've
I
got some CDs as well. If anyone, you know, just DM me on Instagram or whatever, and I'll figure out getting away CD to people if they want
Perfect. And
one.
obviously I'll put all of that details in all those details into the description
Nice one.
below. Before we start wrapping up, I do want to ask though, because you mentioned it a couple of times now. So you played live. Can you tell us more about the live experience, the live exit
Yeah.
experience?
Oh, yes. Yeah, of course. I may be excited. Like, yeah. No, I been performing proper like performances from the early day, like 2013 to
Mm,
now, and you just get. I try to add things in that are just, you know, all you get all different styles. You'll be just, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I try to tell a story, and I try to
mm,
like start off. You get some sentimental things, but then you get
yeah.
like the hype. Yeah,
Mm,
I move around the stage. I'm jumping up and down, and I give so much energy. I give so much energy to my performances that you're gonna
mm,
go, oh, you're gonna feel that energy, and you're gonna
yeah.
connect and be like, whoa, like yeah. There's nothing like performing. I love it. I love it. So there's so much. It's always different. So I always like to change my sets, but you're always gonna get some
Yeah.
exit man. You're gonna get a bit of gas
Mm,
in. You're gonna get goals. You're gonna
mm,
get little raps you've never heard at the beginning. But
mm,
there's some new songs that are gonna be in
yeah.
my set next year. Like I'm working on some new songs, a new album as well, but not like
Mm.
it's in the early stages. But I'm really happy with the new stuff that I'm making. But I can't wait to record to perform some of the new stuff that I've been making recently. Definitely,
Nice. Yeah,
yeah,
I've seen clips of you performing live, and yeah, you're right. It is high energy and it's a lot of movement, put it that way. So yeah,
yeah,
definitely, definitely. I was going to ask actually what's coming up next for you. So we're looking at obviously new music,
yeah.
adding the new stuff to the set, but also a new album potentially is on the
Yeah,
way.
I'm gonna take my time with it.
Mm,
Basically, I've literally recorded just some demos, and I haven't like mixed. Nothing's been mixed yet, but I've just been recording the demos, and I'm gonna get to that soon. But I'm just I've made this song that I'm super happy with. I've sent it
mm,
to some other rappers, and some other rappers are saying this is the best thing you've ever done. It's the most like you know the most sentimental thing you've ever done. It's the best thing
mm,
you've done, and I'm like, oh, wicked! So I'm really excited, and I want that to be perfect
yeah.
before it comes out. But I'm gonna have a drum and bass tune out at the beginning of next year.
Hmm.
Just a random song just to go out and get people hyped to start off the year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the album, I don't know, maybe later in 2026 or
Mm,
but I'm just gonna take my time because I feel like I put out a lot of projects. So I'm
mm,
not gonna write. Well, I don't. I feel like I've given so much, I can sort of take my time now. I feel
Yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, you definitely have earned it as well, especially with the quality of the last record. So you definitely earned that bit of time.
Oh,
But
and
yeah,
an EP,
go
sorry,
on.
one more thing. And an EP I'm doing with Specific. I said earlier, you did Average
Oh
Day.
yeah.
We're doing a 4-track EP. So that might be the first thing you guys hear, because we've kind
Hmm.
of, we've wrote quite a lot of the songs, and we're going to have a day where we just come here and we just record the 4 songs. So yeah, you
Yeah.
might see that first. Don't know what point of 2026, but that's also coming 2026 as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Good to hear. Well, I would like to say a huge thank you to you, Exit, for coming on today. We'll wrap
Oh,
up,
thank you for having
obviously,
me. Thank you.
after the recording. No, not a problem at all. We'll wrap up after the recording, obviously, where I'll run through everything. But I'd like to say a huge thank you. And everybody, if you can, do go and listen to the Evening Cool Down. It's a fantastic record. Loads of links and everything in the description below for you to go and find Exit. As you said, you're on Instagram as well, probably a really easy place to find you.
Yeah, Exit official.
There we go, nice and easy. But yeah, no, I'd like to say a huge thank you for coming onto the podcast. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. It's been awesome. It's been awesome.
No problem.